I've always wanted to branch out and review more genres of tech. So when I saw that Best Buy was having a back to school sale on Chromebooks, I figured what a great opportunity to go ahead and expand a little bit into something else. So I've chosen this one, the Acer Chromebook 315. And I like, even with the phones, I love to pick out a device that's the cheapest, but you can still get some utility out of. So there was one a little bit cheaper than this. It was like a $90 Lenovo, but it was 11.6 inches. I didn't quite like it. So I wanted to go for this, the $129 Acer Chromebook 315. And that's what you have to remember as a theme as we go through this video. $129. I can barely fill up my car for $129 with gasoline at this point. So the utility you get out of something this inexpensive really does a good job. All right, let's talk about the externals of the device first. What you actually get in terms of build. It's a plastic build. Does the keyboard flex? Absolutely it does. Does it feel like the most solid polycarbonate in the world? No, it very much does not. But then again, it's solid enough. It's a decent enough build. It's not going to fall apart in your hand. It could take a knock or two. And the thing that's the most important, I believe, out of the build is the hinge is quite good. You could put it in a lot of different positions. It's not a cheap hinge. It's sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's going to break apart in 30 seconds. But what do you get for $129? Well, you get more ports and more accessibility than you do on laptops 10 times the cost, which is quite interesting. As you can see, it's charging. I'm going to pull that out. USB-C charging, but that also duals as a USB-C Type 3.1 port. I'll pull this out. This is the mouse that I was using, a USB 3.0 port, USB-A. But then the other cool thing is micro USB expandability, which you don't even get on a lot of cell phones now for also 10 times the cost. And a headphone jack with line in as well. On the other side, you get another USB-C port, your Kensington lock port, and another USB-A 3.0 port, which is good. And you can see I'm using an external mouse, and we'll get to that in a moment as well. But the cool part about those USB-C ports are that you could do display out, which is going to be important for you, especially if you want to use this as your main machine. Why would you buy something like this? There's a lot of different reasons. If you're going back to school, that was the point, the kind of back to school sale. If you're a student, if you're somebody who already has that expensive MacBook Pro, his $1,600, $2,000 MacBook Pro, do you really need to be bringing all of that with you to class? Do you really need to be bringing all that with you on the train, on the bus, to the library where it could get swiped when you're just sitting there typing away and perhaps doing research? No. You could pick up something like this and do just as much with it in class, taking notes in the library than you would that $2,000 MacBook. Are you somebody that's a student, you're a limited budget, you're trying to decide, hey, listen, am I going to get a really good laptop or am I going to get a really good desktop? And you have to decide between one or the other. Well, you can get the really good desktop and then just pick up something like this Chromebook or one of these Chromebooks and go ahead and use that for your class and your notes, and then utilize the desktop when you're at home. Is this a first computer for somebody? I saw in a lot of the reviews, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids. This is the laptop that you give them, kind of learn about computing. Something that could take a couple knocks, but if it gets dropped in the bottom of the ocean or something like that, you're not going to cry over your lunch about it. That's useful as well. Are you in high school? You really don't have a lot of money. Or your parents, you don't know why they're sending you to high school with a laptop, but you need something functional. You could go ahead and use this. The way I always looked at Chromebooks was the way that we used to look at terminals back in the day. Remember, if you're old enough for a terminal, the mainframe is essentially the cloud now. You're using Google services, which work just fine on it, and performance is good. If 4 gigs of RAM, don't ask it to do a million things at once, but if you keep it to what you're supposed to be doing on it, you're not going to have any issue. We zoom in here a little bit because I want to show you. Google Docs, you're going to get the full range of Google Docs. So if you're doing word processing, if you're just going back to community college for the first time to get your gen eds out of the way, you just need to be able to do reports and research and homework. This is going to be just fine. And expandable storage, you can put larger files on here as well if needed. So you got Google Docs for your word processing needs. You also have Sheets for your spreadsheet needs, okay? And I believe these export. Yeah, I've saved these files in Excel files as well before, so you could go ahead and turn it in that way. You got slides for your PowerPoint-ish needs as well that work just fine, and then you have forms here. that you could use, contact information, stuff like that. That's less important for school, but you got all the Google Cloud functionality. And Chrome OS has gotten quite a bit, it's matured quite a bit over the years, because you get to connect your phone to this, your Android device, so you can have WhatsApp on here and link it to your device. You do get some Android apps that are compatible on Google Chrome. But for the most part, if you're just doing simple things like web browsing, like tabbing, like research, word processing, just writing reports, doing homework, you're not going to have that much of an issue. And the typing experience was just fine. We'll still go ahead and open up a document here. The keyboard, like I said, flexes, but it's not overly mushy. It's a little mushy, but again, $129. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Typing experience. I'm able to type accurately, quickly, and you saw there was no delay. There was no typing delay across the screen. Let's talk about the screen, because, you know, you're in between classes, you want to be watching video or Netflix streaming, you want to be on Twitch. You could do that as well. We'll go ahead and pull this up. Who's this guy? This Steve Licious Tech guy. Is the screen the most color accurate thing in the world? Nope, absolutely not. Is it the brightest in the world? Nope. Are the colors even accurate? No. So you have, and it washes out if you're anywhere between 2 degrees, outside of 2 degrees field of view in front of the display. But the good thing about that is you have another monitor at home, even an older one. You can go ahead and use that display port out from the USB-C and have a better monitor at home. Just kind of use this as the base station if it is your only computing device. If it's something that you're just using on the road or whatever for notes or in class, it's not really that big of a deal. The webcam was actually quite good on it. I was surprised by that. So if you need to do that for class, if you need to do it for work, if you're just looking for something to get you back on your feet, this can work. This could absolutely work for you. You need to be on Google Meets or Hangouts or whatever it is, happens to be for work. If you need to be on Zoom, need to be on a video call, the webcam will do a perfectly good job representing. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Well, pretty fast Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi 5, but it's pretty good. It's speedy. I've had no problem streaming at 1080p. The screen is 720p. Just understand that, okay? The screen is 720p. But you can do a couple things. People say that there's no options for the screen whatsoever, and I disagree with that. There are a couple. They're not the greatest things in the world, but they help a little bit. So if you go in here, and you go into settings, and you put in display, and you go there, you can't do a whole heck of a lot with the resolution and with the color temperature of the device. But I would recommend this. On default, it's at 100%, which makes the icons quite big. If you need that, fine. But I recommend using the extra screen real estate, because I really like the 15.6-inch display. That, to me, is something that really, really hits home, because those small 11-inch ones, you're not going to want to be doing a lot of stuff on that. You're not going to want to spending hours in class or back at your dorm or home writing reports on an 11-inch screen. Get yourself, be easy on your eyes. The display is already going to be tough on your eyes. Be easy on your eyes. Get yourself a nice wide canvas. You can have multiple tabs open. You could split screen. You could do a couple different things to make writing those reports that much easier. So go ahead, put that to 90%, and it kind of zooms in. It makes things just a little bit sharper by zooming out. Also, if you turn on night light, you actually get color temperature options. See how it could totally turn that down for the eye stuff. I leave it on the cooler side, but if that annoys you, if it's too cool for you, you could go ahead and mess with that, but you got to put on night light and then mess with the color temperature options there. Bluetooth is important. You could hook up some headset, or you could hook up a mouse. The trackpad isn't the best in the world. It works, it's fine, but personally, I would like something else. But you could go ahead, set yourself up these cheap mice that either you could hook into USB, you could use one of the USB ports, or just have a Bluetooth mouse, and it works just fine like that. Really no issue there. Comes with a case even as well, a little soft case. Let me go ahead and grab that real quick. So kind of the one-stop shop. You get a nice case with it as well. It's kind of nice. It's padded on the inside. It's got a pocket on the outside. It says Acer. Look, here's the bottom line. If you don't expect a whole heck of a lot out of a $129 device, you're not going to be disappointed. It's like that in Dodgeball, right? What does he say? Is the average guy? He said Vince Vaughn's character. If you don't have any goals or expectations, you're never disappointed. You can have a few expectations here, but as long as you keep them in line, you're absolutely not going to be disappointed for the price. If you have a couple extra bucks to waste, sure, spend $200 on one of the Lenovo ones. Links for those will all be in the description down below. But here's where it gets goofy with Chromebooks. Don't go above $250. The Samsung ones are nice. The screens are fantastic. You get touch screen, you get these aluminum builds and all the rest of it. But you're still spending $600, $500 for a Chromebook at the end of the day. Don't do that. Find the price point that works for you. I think something like this would be great. One of those Lenovo's would be fine as well. I think you're going to get the job done. And there's a lot of uses at this price point for a lot of people. Like I said, you're just getting into computing. You're just learning about computers. You just want something that does web browsing. You can do light YouTube. Are you just getting back into school? Or is this your first computer? Is it first computer you're buying for somebody else? You need one for high school. You need one for grammar school even now. Heck, middle school. You need one for college. Like I said, different ones. You already have another setup at home, but you want something that you could connect to the cloud and use in class. This certainly will get the job done. So keep your expectations in line. You'll be happy. $129, link in the description. They are affiliate links. They do help out the channel. So that would be great if you use those as well. If you have any questions on it, let me know. I've been using it the last couple days. Battery life is good. They say 12 and a half hours. I think that's generous, obviously. You're going to get about 4.5 hours on playback, video playback straight. You'll get 10 or so hours if you're just doing web browsing and word processing and things like that. Sound works fine. There is a Chromebook bug that sometimes you don't get sound at first. Restart it, sound comes up. Bottom firing speakers, they're okay. They're not bad, actually. I listened to stuff all day yesterday on it, but it does have the headphone jack if you need that. But take advantage of that DisplayPort out. That's really great. You set it up, DisplayPort out. You got a nice big screen. You're typing up your report. You're using it. 4 gigs of RAM. Works just fine. You could do research. You could do tabs. It's perfectly snappy for that. I think you'll enjoy it. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.